friend. Welcome back to Christian Podcasting Secrets. I'm your host, Tammy Munson, and today's episode is a little different, but I promise it will be super fun and a great resource for you. So I have been getting a bunch of really great questions from you guys lately in DMs, during coaching calls, even emails. And I thought, why not gather them up and do a good old-fashioned Q&A episode. So we're covering everything from podcast burnout to guest interviews to my thoughts on Substack to growing your show without feeling like you're losing your mind. It's a real thing. But plus, we're keeping it real. We're going to keep it practical and, of course, keeping it centered on why we do what we do, sharing God's truth and encouragement through podcasting. So grab your favorite beverage, cozy up, and let's dive in. All right, my friend, we are going to kick it off with one of the most common questions I've been getting lately. How do I know if God is really calling me to start or even keep going with my podcast? So let's just pause here for a moment and let me say this, that this question is so honest and brave because a lot of times, especially when things get complicated or hard, we begin to wonder, did I really hear God correctly? Am I really meant to do this? This feels much harder than it should be. Sounds familiar, right? Here's what I tell my clients when we have the same conversation. And a lot of people think these things. God's calling usually shows up as a nudge, oftentimes. It's not a neon billboard, do this, do this, do this. At least for me. I'll feel a persistent tug toward something. Maybe it's sharing something. Some of my clients have expressed a nudge to encourage a certain group of people, or even opening your mouth when you'd rather stay quiet. So if you are feeling that tug and you're seeing even small signs of fruit, maybe one person told you, you need to start a podcast. That's a good sign that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And one other thing I want to mention is this. Obedience isn't always about results. It's about faithfulness. And sometimes the real work happens within us before we can actually see it. We're going to jump into a very popular question. I think I've got it in at least 3 coaching calls, several emails, several DMs, and it's about Substack. Now, I have mixed feelings about Substack, so let's just get into it, okay? Now, the short answer to this is, and it's not the best answer, is it depends. So let's break that down. So for those of you that don't know what Substack is, let me just do a real quick overview on that. Substack is a platform known for newsletters, but they're beginning to lean into podcasting too, to kind of be a mini creator hub. It's great for building a tight-knit community, offering bonus content, and a growing email list for your podcast. Here are a few of the pros that I see. It's super easy to connect with your audience directly to create that community piece. It's got built-in email integration. So, hello, way better communication. And you can monetize if you want through subscriptions. Now, here's the part I don't like about it. It's still not a mainstream podcast platform yet. Will that happen in the future? Probably. But as of right now, no. The discovery tools are still improving, but they are far from perfect. And you would likely want to host elsewhere so you can access the RSS capability with publishing on Apple and Spotify and all the other places like that. So if your audience already reads your newsletters and you want a simple place to combine your writing and your audio, it could be an awesome move for you. But if you're brand new and you're just trying to build your audience, you might want to grow on a more traditional platform first. Buzzsprout, Podbean, Simplecast. Any of those are great. And then bring Substack in as an extra layer later. And as I said to a client just yesterday. You don't want to build your empire on someone else's land. And that's exactly what you're doing with Substack. As a channel, absolutely yes. As your one-stop shop, so to speak, no. That's the honest truth, y'all. But the bottom line is this. Know your strategy and choose what serves your mission best. So if you have moved to Substack, let me know. I want to hear about it. You can DM me at Tammy_Munson on Instagram, or you can email me at Tammy@wildfirecreativecompany.com. I will drop both of those links in the show notes for you. Okay. Another question that I got was, how do I get more guests on my show without it feeling awkward or transactional? This is a good one because nobody wants to be like, hey, want to be on my podcast? We know those emails, we get them all the time, right? That feel like a cold sales pitch. I don't want you to do that. Here's what I do want you to do. You want to lead with connection first. Follow them, comment on their content, and engage genuinely. You want to send a personal invitation. I would mention a specific episode or post of theirs that you absolutely loved. Maybe it was a guest they had on. And then explain why you think your audience would connect. You want to make it super easy for them. Give them a quick snapshot of the topic, the vibe of your show, and what the experience will be like. And remember, you're offering them an opportunity to share what God is doing in their life. And that's a gift, my friend, not a transaction. Okay, so this next one is, I think, on every podcaster's mind. How do I grow my podcast without getting obsessed with numbers? So here's the deal. Growth is good, even great. Goals are also good. But when the downloads start to define your worth or the consumption rate, it's time to take a step back. So if you're in that season, here's what I want you to focus on first. Serve your listeners well, the ones you already have. Make sure that when you're talking to them like they are a friend sitting across from you while you guys are having a cup of coffee. I want you to start celebrating impact over downloads. Maybe you got a DM saying, your episode really helped me to do X, because that matters more than 1,000 silent listeners. It does. So start celebrating those small wins. And finally, praying over your audience. Seriously. Pray for the hearts behind the headphones. And I guarantee it will shift everything. Because here's the facts. Consistency and heart, plus God's timing, is growth that not only matters, but is super impactful. Now, this last one came during a strategy call with a client who was struggling with the method in which she was creating her content. And it's such a good one to end on, I think. And it's, how do I balance being spirit-led and also staying organized with my episodes? Now, here's where a lot of Christian podcasters get tripped up. They feel it's like either schedule everything like clockwork or show up with no plan and just kind of wing it. So friend, you can do both. You can plan your framework and map out themes and ideas and scriptures, but then you can hold them with an open hand. Flexibility is the key here. So if God gives you a new idea midweek, pivot. You're allowed to. It's your show. You can do what you want to do, but you have to trust in your prep work. Because sometimes being spirit-led means He is inspiring you while you're planning, not just in the moment with some grand idea that, oh my gosh, that's next week's episode. Sometimes it is like that, but more oftentimes it's not. So we need to be prepared and work ahead, but be flexible enough in all the things that we're doing so that we can make those changes. We need to prepare in faith, but show up in freedom. All right, my friend, that is our Q&A for today. I hope these questions encouraged you and challenged you and maybe even gave you a little extra clarity for your podcasting journey. If you love this style of episode, go ahead and shoot me a DM, Tammy_Munson, and let me know your questions, your comments, because I would love to do more Q&As with you in the future. My main mission here is to help you use your voice to tell your stories. So as always, I want you to keep showing up boldly, and remember, your voice matters more than you know. So next week, y'all, I will be broadcasting from New Orleans as I am helping my father out with a couple of things down there. And next week, we are getting into all about self-doubt and negative thoughts and the voices that we do listen to, but maybe we shouldn't. So I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye, y'all.